You know what? I've done it before. It was probably about 9 months ago to a year ago.
You must
It
have
kind of
been
seems
in,
like dog years this year.
right, a
So
thousand.
yeah, and then I've been on um, been involved in some of the other initiatives, on-site interviews. I've done that as well.
Okay, the mock interviews.
Yep.
Right. Did you do the mock interviews? So I do all of the recruiting for students. That's the kind of things that I do.
Okay.
Um, so I'm not really involved in the mock interview process and things like that at this point. Did you do that with this class? Have you met any of these students?
I have not. No.
Oh, that's exciting. That means
Yep.
that's good because then you'll get to hear straight. It's always
Yeah.
fun. I love demo day.
It's awesome. I like the
Most
concept of it for
wonderful
sure. You guys
time.
did a nice job of putting this together as well. Thank you.
You know, it used to be, in person, and I would go out and buy cookies and cakes and cupcakes and chips, and it was a lot of fun. Um, Even down in Nashville and Chattanooga, I did it. But the virtual one has actually gone very well
Yeah.
so far, so it's very exciting.
Awesome.
Let's see. Let me let her know. We have one student that's actually has COVID. Well, I think we've had it several. Daisha, how are you feeling? You're okay?
Oh
We've
yeah, I'm
had
good. Yeah.
we've had three
Thank you.
students that have had COVID. Um, okay. Let's see. I'm just letting them know, and then we can get started. All right.
Let's get it started.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Hi, Eloise.
Hello, hi.
How are
I'm
you?
having trouble. I have to have the audio on my phone because I can't unmute. Or can you hear me through here?
I can hear you right now. So
Okay.
through
Let
something.
me hang this up.
Let's see. Okay, we're right at 4:30. Who else are we waiting for? Okay. Let's see. I think we're doing okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let them get started. And as people come in, I'll let them in. Our students typically do their presentation. They share their screen, and then there's questions if you have any questions, that kind of thing. So Brian wanted to go first, and then we're going to do Alex, Daisha, and Olajuwon. Um, so if you wanted to go ahead and introduce yourself, Brian, go right ahead.
Hey, my name is Brian Kimbrough, and I am currently a police officer working out in Nashville, Tennessee. I decided to come to Savvy Coders because I've always had an interest in coding, and it is something that I want to teach my son in the future. My project will actually be based on activities for people with special needs. Um, I decided to make my project uh, for parents who to give provide them information for uh, for their kids or relatives if they have special needs in order to make sure that they stay active. This website would allow users to um, actually see different events, activities, and locations, and would also have certain videos that will be provided as well. Um, I decided to do this project because my best friend and girlfriend have both have brothers who have special needs, and I'm fairly close to them. Um, in addition to that, my best friend and I normally every year we throw a football camp, the National Down Syndrome um, kids, and unfortunately this year we were not able to do so. The coronavirus. Uh, so with that being said, I'd like to show you guys how I began my journey of coding, which is with Share my screen with you guys. Can everyone see?
Yes.
Okay. This is my Trello board. Um, this is my first time ever using a Trello board. Um, I have a few things that I still need to get done, but there's a lot of things that I've already completed in regards to my project. When using this Trello board, it actually gave me the option to put due dates in and certain times in which I wanted to complete it. Um, and that's how I stayed on course to make sure that I tried to make sure that my project was as completed.
I love that you have study 2 hours a day. That's awesome.
Uh, um, and also, my project is deployed on Netlify. Um, I plan to implement Firebase for my backend stuff uh, when I decide to add emails. So, um, this is my homepage. The bio is pretty much saying that we we want to provide parents with the right resources in order to make sure that kids are staying active and eating the correct way. In addition to that, we also want to make sure that kids with special needs uh, feel as normal as possible because at times it can be very challenging. For example, for me, it was hard for me to explain to my girlfriend why was he different. Um, that was a tough thing for me to do. So for me, I try to make him seem as normal as possible. Over here is an API that me and my TA Trey worked on for numerous hours and days trying to get it to work. We had a very hard time getting it to render to the page, but we did end up using event listeners and um, the click button in order to make it display on the page. On my nutrition page, this is a simple list. I use that uh, headers and I use that unordered list. These are just like simple things that um, they could do on their own. Um, Other than the dinner, obviously, um, some of those dinners could be a little bit complex, but these are some of the simple things that I just wanted to show and provide for them in case they needed to do something on their own. The next section is my video section. Um, and these videos is actually my girlfriend, brother, performing squats, push-ups, and jumping jacks.
So you created your own videos for this.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome. If you click on the links with the food, does it give you the recipe and the directions?
No, it does not, but that's a great idea. Something to think about. And there's some of the jumping jacks.
I can't do jumping jacks to save my life. I'm just not coordinated to move my arms and legs at the same time. That's impressive.
As you guys can see, everything is functioning properly, um, as they should. This next topic is a very important topic for me in general when it comes to dealing with people with special needs, being a former athlete, or whatever. I know that it's an honor, and a privilege to be able to play and do sports in general. But for me, the Special Olympics is hosted pretty much all around the world. It is something that, you know, a lot of parents don't know about that have special needs. And a lot of parents don't understand that making sure that their kids with special needs get the right nutrition and staying active is very important because they tend to not live as long as normal people. But the Special Olympics also host um, all different type of sports at their events, like golf, football, flag football, tennis, and other sports. That being said, I have these in my footer. I've implemented icons with anchors in them that also have pages that I've created as well in regards to this. Um, for example, this is the Instagram page that I created and started implementing a few things in it. Um, this is the another menu of things that they can eat to make sure that they're staying healthy. And here are some of the stretches that they could also do. um, That's not too tough, but also capable of doing. And here's a save the date, which just passed November 6th of activity, another activity hosted by. I've also created a Twitter. Um, and as you guys can see, within this Twitter page, there's Special Olympics from all over the place. North Carolina, um, this one's in Virginia Tech, Indiana, for people racing. Uh, I also implemented a lot of health and fitness thing in here as well. Here's muscle fitness. Um, so there's a lot of things that I'm implementing to give parents the resources that they need within this Twitter page. On this, I also created a Facebook page as well. I wasn't able to create a page that wasn't attached to my personal Facebook page, but I do plan on implementing that. Um, I only have a couple images within this Facebook, but that was because they only allowed me to make this a business page. That concludes my project, and I would like to say, although these last 3 months have been very challenging at Savvy, I just want to say how grateful and thankful I am to be able to have learned something new. And for everybody who's joining us here today, I also would like to say thank you for being here and hosting and watching us present our project. So if anyone have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Brian. That was great. Brooke, did you have any questions?
Yeah. So Brian, a couple things. You had mentioned you're in Tennessee right now. Is that correct?
Nashville?
Yes, sir.
Looking to come up to St. Louis?
That's a possibility. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you're open to different markets then.
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay. Um, so with this, what can you kind of define the type of role that you would be targeting?
The role that I want to target is pretty much um, just get providing people with the information that to help them better understand the challenges that comes with being a parent and trying to find the correct resources for kids with special needs, if you get what I'm saying. Um,
Mhm.
so for example, from my own personal experiences with my girlfriend's brother, he's had a hard time of finding events all the time that he could go and be active. There was this one camp that he was going to, and it was a soccer camp, and he was actually pretty good. Um, and it actually kind of motivated me and just showed me how privileged and how much of an honor it was for me to be able to do those things and he's capable of doing it. Wow.
Yeah, I love the concept and the information that you're providing, and being able to consolidate that. Um, I'm sure in some cases it probably means, uh, depending upon the severity of the special needs, probably means that there's some additional time that individuals are having to spend to help research and help find different options and avenues and that kind of stuff. And you're doing a great service by pulling it together in one area. So that's really cool and admirable. I probably didn't explain myself, but you're looking for a developer role here, ideally in St. Louis, or
Yes. Yes, I am.
okay. And have you thought about if it would be more front end development or getting more into the back end? Do you like the web page? Is that kind of what you're looking at, or do you have an
Um,
idea?
I'm willing to do anything. There's nothing that I can't learn. I work severely hard, so it's something that I don't learn, that I don't know. I'm willing to always learn it. So I'm pretty much open to anything.
Okay.
And Brian, you have your bachelor's in criminal justice, right? From
Yes,
Van.
ma'am.
And then your master's, is it complete yet?
No, not yet.
That's what I thought, but you're close.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Also in CJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is something he wanted, something a little more challenging. And I think we provided that. I think we gave him something a tad bit more challenging.
Yeah, it's a lot of time that went into this project in general. I had a great TA.
Yeah.
The most difficult thing for me um, was just trying to. I think the CSS was probably the toughest thing for me, just placing everything in the right spaces and making sure they have the right spacing and stuff like that. Also, my classmates were also great with helping and assisting with these things as well. So, like I said, I'm very grateful to be in the situation that I was in, even though it was challenging. Just always great to be able to learn something new. Now I can say that I have something.
It's awesome.
And this was great, Brian. Congratulations and good luck to you. Very
Thank you.
awesome work.
Well,
Yep.
thank you, Brian. We really appreciate it. That was great.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Great job, bro.
A few more people join. I didn't know if Sarah, Sharita, if you guys wanted to introduce yourself. And Eloise, I don't know if you do. You don't actually know several students. I'm used to you knowing them all. So I don't know if the three of you guys, if you wanted to introduce yourselves, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. I apologize for my tardiness. But yeah, I am a senior recruiter with BrookSource here in St. Louis. We do have a lot of different, markets around the country, but I am based here out of St. Louis. So those are the majority of the openings that I'll see. We work with a lot of, Fortune 500, Fortune 1200 companies around the area, and hire a lot of, entry-level developers. So I'm really excited to meet everybody. Sorry, I missed a little bit of your presentation, but hopefully we'll be able to connect and learn a little bit more about it. So yeah, really excited to be here.
Thanks. And don't worry about it. It's 2020. It's a free for all. We're in the home.
For sure.
Sharita, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. And I do apologize as well for being late to the call. I am actually on the advisory board for Savvy Coders. So I'm just here to support and see what you guys have produced. And so thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You're
Eloise?
welcome. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's great to see you all. I am the project lead for Tech Hire, which is a grant that funded several of the participants that went through Savvy Coders cohort this time. So we're very excited to see your capstone, and we're very excited to get you to the career path that you want to be on. So far, we've only seen Brian's capstone, which was awesome. So again, good luck to you, Brian, and wishing well for the rest of you. So let's move forward to see the rest of the capstone.
And again, for those of you I haven't met, my name is Desiree Abalon. I'm the Director of Operations for Savvy. So just if you have any questions for me, please go ahead. But we're going to go ahead and move on to Alex, who lives up north over here in Illinois right now. I'm in Illinois currently. But he is moving to St. Louis soon. So go ahead and take it away, Alex.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Alex Adler, and I come from a background as an automotive technician. That is where I learned the patience and skills to troubleshoot major problems. I always excelled with electrical processes and computer control side of diagnosing vehicles. Earlier this year, I started my career as a web developer when I found out about Code Academy. And after deciding coding was for me, I was talking with one of my friends who told me to check out Savvy Coders. I attended one of their preview classes, and the next day I found myself enrolling in their boot camp. For my capstone project, I decided to incorporate one of my favorite hobbies, which is playing fantasy hockey. One of the major challenges of playing fantasy hockey is knowing which goaltender will start for that night. With the knowledge of the starting roster, you will never lose fantasy points again to a lost roster spot. So I decided to make a single-page application which confirms goalie starts for each team in the NHL. I use technologies such as JavaScript, Node.js, HTML, and CSS in developing this useful website for fantasy hockey fans everywhere. I'd love to show you how it works.
Have you been winning in fantasy hockey? Isn't that like a thing where you win? Isn't that
Yes.
right? Like you compete with people and stuff? So
Yes, so
like
there's a
it's helping
couple.
you?
Yes, so there's a couple ways that this could help you. So if you're playing daily fantasy, that's where you actually bet on everything. And sometimes if you don't know the starting goaltender, you'll lose points automatically for that. So you won't rank higher and win any money. Or, if you're playing against friends, it's just kind of bragging rights in the end. So it is very useful for, it will be very useful. So I do have my site hooked up to Netlify, but for tonight, for development purposes, I will be just doing a local host. So let's get over to the landing page for the daily lineup. So this is where you will get your information about starting goalies. So since this is not a active season, that was the biggest hurdle that I had to come over. So I had to, right from the get-go, kind of restart how I was thinking about this whole entire project. So what I had to do was create a interactive, pretty much interactive tables for the user to populate the forms, and then it would populate data from the information they provided. So I am just going to show you how it works. So first we would enter a date, which I put the September 7th of 2020. I have to choose what kind of season it is. So that would be in your 2020 playoffs. And then you select a home team, and that was the New York Islanders. From there, they were playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then when I push submit, it will send an API call out and then populate the actual, the view for the user. So let's push submit. So as you can tell, it comes back. It gives you the starting home goalie and the little picture of the guy and some information about him. And then it gives you the away goalie along with the information about that feller as well. And then on the left-hand side, this just fills in with pretty much game stats from that game. So this left side is more of a future state since this is all previous data. I can't really have a live scoreboard. So that's what I did to pretty much incorporate no dead space with the project. So I can show you another example. And I am going to choose, and you can also enter in dates besides using the calendar. So I'm going to go with February 18th, 2020. And I'm going to select the 2019-20 season. From there, I select my team that I wanted to, that was playing that night, which was the Carolina Hurricanes and the Edmonton Oilers. No, actually, sorry. I read that wrong. So it was the Montreal Canadiens and the Detroit Red Wings. So I push submit, and it will give you the goaltenders that started for those nights, along with the according stats for that game. So I will pull up my console and kind of show you how I kind of, because I have to make a specific API call for this to populate. So with the users pretty much, having to select the data, I had to pretty much take those values and then put it as values that the API would actually recognize. So as you can see for the last one, I took the Montreal Canadiens, put it as an abbreviation for the team, same with the date and what season it was. And that is how I'm able to make the API call pretty much curated to the user. So from there, I will show you how I pretty much did that with my code. So
were those numbers were accurate to February 2nd for that game?
Yes, that is very accurate.
Right. And then going forward, it wouldn't show you their stats because they wouldn't be up there yet until the game was played.
Yes. So that was my biggest thing. Like I said, the biggest
They're
hurdle
not going
was
on.
yes. So I kind of had to scratch the whole idea of interactive, like, just landing there, you'd have that day's goalies showing up that are confirmed. So I had to change it more to a reference site than, an actual.
Would it be helpful when you do move it to that to instead of because it'll be a future thing instead of having blank space, would it be like a culmination of their stats? I don't know if that's important.
Yeah.
I like
So
watching hockey, but that's about it.
yeah. So what I was saying for when they would be the starting goalies during the season, it would pretty much have kind of like a grid, and it would tell you which games are playing.
Okay.
And then for each team, it would tell you which goaltender is confirmed along with their stats.
Okay.
And then on this left side, this would be an actual live scoreboard keeping track of the games that are going that day.
Okay. I understand now. Sorry, I do not understand fantasy football, hockey, any of it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Thank you.
I totally understand. I'm trying to explain this as
Yep, I appreciate it.
layman terms, but I'm a formal mechanic, so hopefully it helps out a little bit. So pretty much I had to make a get data function, and these are my parameters for my API call, which are the values that you selected on the actual page itself. So once you select them, the actual values get put into this API call. So one of the things that I have not done yet, and this is also part of my future state, is that sometimes it breaks. So as you can see, that is not a valid game. So I will get to that point, but I do have to make a log that says that was an invalid game. So that's one of my future states that I have going. So I made the API call, and then it returns my data. And then I kind of sort through the data and make it a little bit easier so I don't have really long strings that are multiple lines long, and it's easier to sift through the data. So once that is actually pretty much all the data is called, once it's submitted, I grab an element that's in my actual header, and using a template. Oh, not my header. Ooh, I can't see it. It's behind the share screen, so I'm sorry, guys. So with the IDs and everything, I can grab the actual element itself and then create a new div, which is pretty much a section, and then fill it in with a template that I have, which pretty much curates the information to the goalie itself that the user has selected. So with that being said, I did show you that it can break. So that's one of my future states that I really have to, nail down. So my biggest thing was creating a goalie reference / interactive website. So another part of my future state is the starting lineup, which right after this I'm going to start on, but this will give you the forwards and the defensemen for the actual lineup itself. So, that's sort of part of my future state, but, it is definitely a work in progress. I'd love to have this as a mobile app, that somebody could use and, create ad revenue too. At the very bottom, I did put some hockey reference links. So for like the NHL.com, TSN is a Canadian-based sports network that focuses on hockey itself. A fantasy hockey pretty much podcast and reference website I like using. Right here, this contact us is actually hooked up to FormSpree. So if anybody has any problems with the website itself, they can fill this out and say, hey, this broke. And then it actually sends it off and then goes straight to my email so I can look at what they were, what their concerns were, or if they had any questions or anything about the site itself. And then I have a little tiny find me. So these links all work. So this little GitHub icon takes you to my GitHub page, so you can follow me there. And then if you go back, the little LinkedIn square takes you to my LinkedIn. And then finally, I made a portfolio before I even started Savvy Coders, and I do need to go back, and so it's kind of all over the place. But that's another thing that I'm working for to free marketing for myself. So with that being said, I use a Trello board most of the time for pretty much developing my website and keeping track of what I was trying to do. So I'm one of those people, if don't have a clear plan in my head, I'm kind of all over the place. So it was really nice to learn how to use a Trello board and keep myself organized. I made templates for the actual website itself, and I tried to stay pretty close to it, but as things grow, they do change too. So that was one of the things about when I got my Agile certification, is always being, ready to move in a new direction and, kind of just adjust with the flow. So I also picked out a color scheme, which is, pretty much based on vintage St. Louis Blues, an aesthetic, from their some of their first jerseys that they ever wore. And like I said, I mean, I still got things to do. I have things in progress. So, I, this is never done until it's done. But at the same time, nothing's ever done.
Not in
And
coding. That's right.
yep. So one of the major things that I was able to do, and I was trying to implement, was I did create a backend for this website using MongoDB Atlas, and I have that connected through a local server that's running on the back end. I was going to use this to shift through the game data, and part of my future state is so that when you go to this section right here, enter a date, and you choose a season, it will give you only the home teams that are playing that day, coordinated with the only team that they are playing against. So you don't really run into the accidental error from choosing the wrong team. Other than that, I did set up a local API using the local host too, that is sending the data from MongoDB to it. So it should be a little bit easier for me to access and kind of shift through the data, and one day be able to reduce that down and make it part of my future state. So like I said, less errors for everyone makes a better user experience for everyone. And with that being said, that is my presentation. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Or if you have any, pretty much anything,
It was a good job, bro.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alex. That was wonderful.
Yeah,
Great
it
job.
took a lot of time working on the back end and getting everything to work correctly.
Yeah, you guys have been working hard.
I got a tip for you later. Yeah. So you can keep people at your website with your targets. You can open up another tab. That way you keep the action at your website. But other than that, that was really good.
I appreciate it. And yeah, I would love that.
Well, that was great. Does anybody have any questions for Alex? I asked mine in the middle. Sorry. I was really lost.
I was glad you said something, because I don't follow fantasy hockey either.
I just don't understand the concept. It's like, what are those podcasts? I don't get those either yet. I lived in Europe most of my life, and I just don't, I don't know. There's some disconnect there in my brain, but I just don't understand the fantasy thing. But it's great. I mean, I love fantasy novels. But that was great, Alex.
Yep, I just wanted to make a website that I was passionate about, and it was definitely easier to keep the motivation up when I was breaking things every 5 minutes.
For sure. I know that you kind of walked through the front end and the back end that you used for that. Which one would you say? I know that you said you spent a lot of time on the back end. Would you say you're stronger in those front end languages?
Yes. So I would say I enjoy back end stuff more, because it's more of a result thing. I can make things pretty and things like that on the front end, but I like working with data. So I feel like a back end would be more suitable for myself.
Okay. Awesome. And I get follow up off of that too. I know that you said that you were using MongoDB for that. Is that right? Is that the main database that you have experience with, or have you also used like SQL or Oracle or something like that?
So I have little bit of Postgres,
Okay.
but
There you go.
not much.
Okay.
I'm still learning to, create tables for myself and everything like that. The biggest thing for me was actually getting it connected to my server and everything working correctly so I could at least, communicate with it.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Does anybody else have anything?
Hey, great job. A lot of interesting data, and I like the kind of the future planning for what you were looking at as well. So it seemed well structured, a good layout, and some good functionality that can be pretty fun to use on the fantasy hockey side of things. So
Oh
well
yeah.
done.
So I mean, my future plans is, I'd like to have an app that was either paid prescription, like subscription, or or create ad revenue from it.
That's always a good thing.
I want to say great job, Alex. Great job.
Thank you so
And
much.
good luck to you. Yeah.
And he will be moving to St. Louis very soon.
Yes, like
Oh,
next week.
There you go.
What area
Exciting.
of St. Louis are you moving to? Do you
So
have-
I will. Yeah, so I will be on the Illinois side. So I will be in Alton, Illinois.
Are you really? You're going to be over by me. Well,
Yeah.
sort of. I go up there a lot. I live in O'Fallon.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back to the area.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex.
Oh, thank you for everyone for their time, and thanks for the feedback too. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, Dyeshia, are you ready to go next? Yes, she
Yeah.
is.
Of
Look at her.
course. Okay. Hey everyone. My name is Dyeshia Smith, and I have a background in customer service and assembly work, now web development. For the past few years, I've been taking classes at a nearby community college while also working as a temporary employee at General Motors Assembly out in Winsville. After going through 4 layoffs with the same company and participating in my first ever job strike and working 6+ days a week, some weeks for over the past 4 years, I started to want to pursue a different career path. While during my time at General Motors, I was close to a coworker of mine, and we started talking about different things that we can do, and that's when he introduced me to just the tech field in general. From there, that's when I was introduced to software engineering, and I found out it was a path you could take without having a 4-year degree. And I just immersed myself in it. And from there, I decided that I wanted to learn JavaScript as my first language. So that was around late 2019. But during COVID of this year, I was laid off again from the same job. And I decided just to dedicate all of my time to learning JavaScript. So that's pretty much what I've been doing since March. Just learning my basics at first. And then when I got introduced to Savvy from a previous student, his name was Dimitri, he used to go here. I started to attend Savvy Coders Bootcamp, and that's when I just got fully immersed in it. And I've been learning just to code in straight vanilla JavaScript. During my time here at Savvy Coders, I was given a task to create a web application of something that I'm passionate about. Since I'm extremely interested in women's health, that encouraged me to create a web application that allows users to give physicians that they visited a performance rating. Users will be able to rate their doctors in 7 different areas while also leaving a detailed review. This will allow other users of the site to be able to look up reviews on their physicians and have a better foundation of knowledge as they meet and work with them. For my project, I've used a combination of Trello boards and sticky notes to keep up with my progress, CSS, HTML, and JavaScript to style the code, which I pretty much did all in Visual Studio Code. I used Insomnia to test my API, Express, MongoDB mainly for my backend, and Mongo Compass, and Netlify to host my site.
Wait, is Insomnia a program, or did you just not sleep a lot?
Both, no.
Okay. No, it is, right? I've never heard that one.
No, we did use Insomnia to test our APIs.
That's a perfect name for it.
Around that time is where I really did get a little insomnia. Is when I stopped sleeping as soon as we started to learn APIs to back end.
Yeah, when you start dreaming in code, it's rough.
That's what happened. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you all can see. I guess we could start with my Trello board so you can all see how I kept track of my progress. At first, I feel like the first half of the program, this was the hardest part, was learning to use the Trello board. But when I got used to how to actually use it and navigate through it, I took all of the sticky notes that I keep everywhere and I just transferred it also to this board, because throughout time, as I'm working on things and I approach bugs, I notice I may have an idea I need to jot down or something else that I need to fix. And I'll write it down and I just stick it to my board while I move on to something else. So that's was really good with this. This is pretty much everything that I've completed, everything I would still like to do on my website since it's not 100% finished, and different APIs and things I would like to use. I did have, these are different images that I was supposed to use on my website, and I had my diagrams all drawn out in the website, which things did ended up taking a change in the midst of me creating it. This is my logo and everything that I've made for Radadoc, which is the name of my capstone project. And just different color schemes and things that I've used from, I think it's not Google Fonts, but I can't think of it. It basically generates palettes for you so your website can have a nice color flow transition. So I did use that to help me, with my color flow. I do have my website up and running on Netlify. I could drop you all the link if you wanted it, but I recently just had a bug as I was trying to fix some things, and the user layout doesn't look too nice over there as opposed to running from my local computer. So I will show you my web page running from my local computer. When you log in, I do have my web application. Right now I only have the the actual login responsive to my backend. I don't have it to where you can create an actual page yet. So I will go ahead and log in. And from here, it'll take me to my login page. During this time is where I found the my API. And this is pretty much what I was banking using my data from, getting all my data from. And a few weeks ago, we found out that API is no longer kept up with. So I had to end up stealing some of the data from there and just generating mock data. And these are all local doctors from the St. Louis area that I took the data from. And I was just able to use that data since I can no longer access their API. And there isn't any other free medical APIs. So this is just the route that I took to get my information. Yeah, all of these doctors and their specialties, they're all stored on MongoDB. Sorry, that's what I use for my backend and my data. So this is my front page, and it just shows all the St. Louis based doctors that I have housed and their specialties. And I have my footer and everything that I've styled and designed at the bottom. I have my hamburger bar, which it's compatible on both mobile devices and web pages. So I have all my pages hidden inside of my hamburger bar with a toggle button. Once you click on I'll go to my About Me page, I guess. I just did a simple detail of basically what this website was created for. Overall, I do plan to come here and add more photos and different links that people could use. I also have this link here if you want to keep up with COVID-19 in your area. That's another API I plan to add later, just to show. I wanted to be able to get the user's location when they log in and show the COVID statistics for in the area. I want to populate that on my page. So, but for now, I just have the link that you can go to, and you can just use this link to jump state to state, whichever state you're in, and it'll show the cases and everything that's going on with COVID in your area. What else? I also have my Review-A-Doc page. This was supposed to be the main part of my page, but due to the API no longer being maintenance and me not being able to find one to use, I just wanted to create a form submission basically where people could, submit a form if they have a doctor that they don't see on here. They can rate them in different areas. And I was working on things about a week ago, and my stars button broke after I got my backend working. Every like a couple of things on my page broke, and I've just been working with that, and I plan to continue working with that. But you'll be able to enter a doctor's name and their specialty and leave a detailed review, and then submit it. Once you submit it, ideally, I would like the data to send a request to MongoDB, my backend, and leave the doctor will be populated on one of these cards. And I think that's pretty much it for my page. I also want to use the data from my MongoDB and also send a request for my search bar. So that way, when you start typing in any doctor, it'll pop up and you can look at the reviews that people have posted overall for that doctor. Also at the bottom, I have my links, email, if you would like to email me to keep in contact with me. I have my GitHub link where it takes you to my GitHub account and you can see other projects that I've done. I've been learning the MERN stack in the meantime, so I do want to use this page and incorporate React with it. So I'm not sure if I wanted to do that right away or finish my backend data first. I'm in the midst of learning it. And also my LinkedIn profile to, just keep in contact with me and everything. I'm open to any questions that you all may have regarding my site or just me in general. And I think that's pretty much it.
You used a lot of words I didn't know.
What?
Yeah, that was impressive.
Thanks.
OBGYN, that's a lady doctor, right?
Yes.
Correct.
That's like the one that's like the one word I did know.
OBGYN can be males as well. So great work, Dyeshia. And I would like to see it once you complete it all.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. It's an easy way to, if you're looking for a new doctor, see what others think about that doctor as you look for someone to take care of you. So this is a great idea. And also the other two were great ideas as well. I didn't get an opportunity to say that. Very thoughtful projects.
Thank you.
Especially for somebody like me who's moved 37 times. I always come into a new place and I'm like, what doctor do I even, and it's literally like me taking my finger down the list in the phone book.
Yeah.
When we still used phone books. And
That's
it is because I didn't have anything like that ever.
I want to create like a Yelp in general for doctors.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Because I feel like that is really important, especially
for
health, but generally for everyone. I wanted everyone to be able to use it, but especially for women's health. And so, yeah, that was my main purpose of creating this.
Between that and pediatricians and stuff like that.
Yeah,
those are the ones that just are.
Thanks for adding the COVID-19 information. That's really great as well. And you can see it state by state if you wanted to look at a relative state or something. So that's awesome.
I just found that and figured out they had an API, and that's something I feel like I'm going to incorporate within this week. So, and maybe just have certain things pop up when it will grab your location. So it'll see what state you're in, and maybe I'll just have like the state total number of cases. And that way, that's why I kind of want to wait till I add React, so it can be updated automatically. So you can see like the current cases that's going on. So.
It is really cool. That aspect tied into the value of the database of doctors and their ratings and so forth. It's just, it's cool information that's pertinent obviously right now. And yeah, well done. I like your thought, not only for what you're doing right now, but also where you want to go with it as well. Nice job.
No, it was very well thought out. Thank you so much, Dyeshia. So we have one more student in our group. And I don't know if you all know this, but we record each of these. So at the end, I'll be uploading all of the different groups because we have 4 different groups filled with amazing students. And I'll be uploading them all to the YouTube channel. And you'll get an email with the links and everything as soon as I get that done.
Awesome.
Read the next 24 hours. So now we're going to move on to our last, but definitely not least, Olajuwon.
Greetings, everyone. I am so happy to be here, and I'm grateful to have you all present. My name is Olajuwon Davis, and I have a background in creative arts with an emphasis in social justice. Starting very young in my youth, I performed on street corners in theaters like the St. Louis Black Repertory Theater Company and small plays around the city of St. Louis, and even participated in an independent film in 2013. Um, I am here today because I've had a growing interest in coding, but I just really did not know where to seek out that information, like where to get started. And gratefully, I ran across Savvy Coders after being introduced to it through a community organization called Father Support Center. And so I took on the challenge. I had, didn't really know what to expect or anything, but I definitely encountered a challenge, something that was very new to me, and I'm grateful that I actually embarked on this journey and look forward to continuing to learn coding on both sides, front end and back end, so that way I can put my creativity to use and hopefully use it to serve, my community. The theme of my capstone really centers around getting other people inspired. When I originally started coming up with an idea for my capstone, I was like, oh, what should I do? Should I just make a website about myself, about my creativity? But eventually, I narrowed it down to I want to be able to serve people because that's when I'm most excited. That's when I feel my greatest, when I get other people inspired. And oftentimes when asked on a job interview, what are my greatest strengths? Usually it involves me being someone who's a team player, someone who can work in a team, someone who can work and learn fast, but most importantly, someone who can get other people pumped up, you know. So I wanted to take that theme and take that strength and put it into my website. Now, I originally had a target audience for those who were those who had experienced the criminal justice system, those who have maybe coming out of in prisons and transitional homes, just as a way because many people in my family have experienced incarceration, and I've also seen uh, peers and people in that community in general who often end up going back to prison, and one of those main contributors that I saw were just lack of motivation, just needing a way to feel inspired, after having the stigmas on you and feeling like you just got a lot against you. So I had a large idea as far as what I wanted to do. I wanted to provide these resources, links to organizations and things, but I needed to learn how to code first. How do I translate all that into coding? And so some of the tools that I utilize, and I'll begin to share my screen here. Some of the tools that I utilized to try to actually formulate these ideas obviously was the Trello board, something that I was new to. Now I'm very archaic when it comes to writing notes and stuff. I still utilize my pen and notepad, and as Dyeshia mentioned earlier, it was difficult trying to translate that originally, to the Trello board, but I was able to get some things accomplished after redoing some of the assignments and actually finally narrowing down what I want my project to be, deciding on cosmetics and things like that, giving myself a time frame in order to complete those tasks, how long it might take. Another thing that I utilized to really get this SPA going was GitHub. GitHub has become very instrumental in getting this SPA up, saving all of my progress, and also being able to document my activities, how much I actually contributed to the site and push things up of that nature. Here you can see several repositories where I was practicing and working on the back end and crashing and messing things up, but eventually coming out on top to produce something to present today for demo day. I also utilized a program called VS Code, which is where all of my coding took place, from CSS, which I enjoyed most because of my love for being creative, being able to change the colors and fonts and just realizing there's so much that goes into actually creating a website. So, I really am humbled by this experience because when I see beautiful websites, I just think, oh my God, these people really just know what they're doing.
You have a completely different understanding and appreciation, don't you?
Like I said, I'm humbled.
Yeah,
I'm
you
somebody.
come to a site that doesn't have that maybe has a glitch, and you're like, you know what? It's all right, man. You think to yourself, instead of being annoyed right away, you're like, no, I get you.
Yes, yes. Now, since I had an interest in, the front end mostly, I really wanted to challenge myself and really learn some more of the back end things. And with some patience, with resilience, and some cooperation from savvy coders, TAs, I was able to implement some wonderful back end things on my SPA that I'm very proud of. And just one of those things I'm most proud of and recently accomplished was my ability to add a button on my page. And what that button does, it forms as an API call. So it calls certain information to my page and it allows it to be displayed on my page. And that's what we have here. This program Axios, which allows me to get the quote from this particular API storage website and then post it on my page. Like, I mean, when that happened, I was so satisfied. And without further ado, I'm going to give you a view of what my SPA looks like. So I finally decided on the name for my SPA, which is really a working title. But again, my idea was to inspire people. So I wanted to call this place the Inspiration Station, a place where anyone, no matter your demographic, no matter where you come from, where you can come and you can get a good word and perhaps a good picture, something that will inspire you. Very much like those little pamphlets one might get that has a quote or a scripture or something of the day, just to keep you going, especially in these times right now. So my vision is that this could eventually just be something that can be turned into an app, and that you can receive notifications every day with the quote of the day, and a picture of the day. So here I have my jumbotron with my picture here. Just being inspired means being free. Being free from worry, being free from stress, and just having peace. It's something that I aspire to have daily, and I know that if other people experience that, then life can be just that much better. So moving down, I have my navigation bar here with several different parts of the SPA, and about us, the photos, where I eventually would like to accumulate all previous photos that have been displayed on the site, where you can just go back and perhaps review some of those, as well as the quotes of the day. So here's my pride and joy. This button right here, get inspired. Oh, look at it. It's just inspiring looking at it, So let me just press this button and see what quote we get for the day, and hopefully we're inspired. Let's see. Okay. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. Wow. How appropriate. I almost brought to tears when I think about all of the challenges associated with this experience, and with COVID-19, and we out with family, and virtual learning, and just, oh man. But instead of me being down and out about it, having that understanding is important. Understanding that what I'm going through and what I'm overcoming is actually what separates ourselves from other people, those who give up, And then it almost goes perfectly with the photo of the day, which symbolizes that nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. Wow. Well, and that there is just, something that I know that I myself need, daily, something that I think that we all need, just having a good word and a good something to get you motivated and ready to face the challenges of the day. Lastly, at the end, stay inspired and stay free. So although it's very simple, I wanted to keep it simple. I personally would like to do a lot more with my front end and make it a lot more appealing to the eye. However, like I said, I was very excited about being able to get this API button up and running. That's just really I'm very proud of that. And I want to learn more on the back end, because I feel like having that coupled with my creativity, which is more the front end, I will be an asset to whoever I end up working with when it comes to coding. I have a ways to go. Nevertheless, I am confident that I can get there, and I am excited about continuing to learn new features and new programs and even programming languages. And that's exactly what I'll do when it comes to my future state. And if anybody have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
That was great. I love those little random buttons. I saw that on another site once. Yeah, if they did a portfolio of themselves for themselves, and hers were book quotes, because she was all about books and reading, and I'm all about that. So I just love that random quote. I love those things. To get those to
Yes.
work and that's awesome.
Yes, it took some time, but like I said, when it was finally done, I was grateful. I was grateful, and I look forward to doing implementing that in other places throughout the website.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, does the photo of the day have like a random generator as well, or does that one just change every day?
This one, one obstacle that I ran into was that with some APIs, they have a cost, and when you can't just take photographs from any place and put them on your website,
Right.
copyright. So what I did was started collecting photos that were royalty free, things that would not get me in trouble, and then I basically put them inside of a folder where that it would recycle it and essentially randomize it every day.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, you want to make sure you're not getting in trouble.
No.
For sure. No, that's awesome. I love that. This is a really, really cool site.
Thank you.
I like it too.
Well, thank you
very
so
much.
much
Very
for
thoughtful.
sharing. Yeah, it was. Let's see.
Olajuwon, are you, I assume you're looking for front-end development type opportunities? Is that kind of your dream on the creative side?
That's my dream. Surely it is, but I'm definitely open to learning more back end, but I'm very passionate about stimulating the mind and stimulating the heart, so that I feel most alive when I'm creative. So I want to give people that same feeling when they come to a place, when they come to a website.
Besides Olajuwon's coding skills, something that's always impressed me by him from the first time I met him, it didn't help that the student that I met, helped that the student I met right before you literally had pajamas on when he met me, and you came in looking so professional and nice, and it was just a joy to meet you. But it's his ability to sell. That's my passion. I love sales of all sorts, because everything is sales, regardless of what you're in. Selling your kids bedtime, selling whatever. It's all sales. So that's something all four of these guys are so versatile, not just with their coding skills, but with their personalities. I don't know how I lucked out with the great group this time. I'm not quite sure, but whatever I did right this last cohort to get my 4 people, that's awesome. So I'm very grateful. You guys did amazing. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful that you guys all came to share it with us, Brooke, Sarah, Sharita, and Eloise.
Yes.
And also Trey. Trey is one of our, dare I say, top TAs. He has saved.
That was my TA, by the way.
Yeah,
Trey.
Trey is an incredible TA, and he's just amazing. He works at Centene, right, Trey?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and he's just been, well, especially with this group, because there were 18 students in this class, which is very unusual for us. But there were 18 students, and he was integral in their success. So thank you very much, Trey, because I don't know how many times I've called you. Hey,
This
Trey.
is definitely this was definitely my first. This a fun first TA, because I had graduated.
You just graduated.
Yeah, I
just graduated 2 weeks after these guys started.
Yeah, so it was good because I love helping people. I love watching others grow, more than they probably want to see their self grow. So it's an enjoying feeling.
Well, you're
And I'm
passionate.
hoping to help a lot of people this next cohort, like get started on this. So
Yeah, I have a couple of names for you. So
Just a,
thank you all.
just a general comment. Not only is the development of what you guys are doing impressive, but the hearts to what you're doing it with is fantastic. That's the part that I got to tell you encourages me the most. People that are going to go out and make a difference, that are going to pursue their passion in technology, but bring the heart with you. In all the people that I interview, one point of encouragement is that's a difference maker. That separates you from the rest of the pack of the folks that are interviewing for the same opportunity. So bring that heart, bring that attitude, bring that giving nature into the interview, and just watch and see what happens. You won't regret it. And that's, like I said, each one of you guys has that, have great communication skills, have a passion for what you're doing, and it was a pleasure to see this.
So now you understand why when I'm recruiting and talking to you guys that I said I don't like Turks in my class, that I'm the dragon at the gate. I'm very picky with who I let in my class, and this is why. Because you guys shine. And I am so impressed. I'm very proud of all of you.
Yeah, this was awesome. This is personally my first virtual demo day that I have had the pleasure of participating in. And yeah, you guys set the bar really high. Super impressed with all of you guys. I think that every single one of your websites had some awesome aspects to it that really set them apart from each other. And you guys did an awesome job. So thank you so much for showing us that and talking through your projects with us.
Yeah, to complete all this in 12 weeks, it's not easy. And I tell you guys that. Yeah, I'm not Willy Wonka. I don't sugarcoat it. It's a rough course. There's a lot of tears, lots of late night panic calls to Des. But you guys made it through, and you all shined. So thank you, all of you. This was great. This is a great group. I'm excited.
Yeah, I would echo everything that everyone else said. And you're balancing a lot in life, and COVID times is that unpredictable, uncertain times, and you're shining right now. And I appreciate each and every one of you, and just the thoughtfulness that you put into your projects, and that it was a passion for you all. And so really appreciate that, and wish you much success. If there's anything that I can do, I will certainly open whatever doors I can to introduce you to whomever I can. So thank you for the dedication and time and hard work and commitment that you put in.
Thank you so much, Sharita. That's wonderful. I will say that 2 of the students tonight actually have had COVID during this course. We had 3 total that have had it. And they still all managed to complete because they're just amazing. We don't let you give up real easy, do we?
Kudos.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But this is why. So
that was a challenge in its own, getting over COVID, man. That's I go congratulations right there.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for coming. You'll be getting an email as soon as I get everything uploaded. Maybe say a prayer. Me and YouTube, we have kind of a love-hate relationship. So I'll get this done, and then you guys can see your shining faces tomorrow, hopefully, and you'll get an email. Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys for being here as well.
Thank you all.
Appreciate you all.
Yes, thank you all for
Well,
coming.
amazing.
All right. Well, bye.
Good luck
Thank
to
you.
everyone. Bye.